day, dearly beloved viewers, and welcome to another episode of After the Movies with the Miriam. And I am still your privileged host. Today, on this episode, I have a very beautiful guest with me. Can you guess who the guest is? Of course, you've guessed right. So I have with me Pastor Mrs. Wright. Can you celebrate Pastor Mrs. Wright? Welcome, Ma.
Thank
so
you.
Good to have you on the show, Ma.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I know you have a lot of questions for Pastor Mrs. Wright. You can drop them in the comment section and then we would attend to them in the next episode. So before we proceed, how do you feel to be on the show with us, Ma?
I feel so elated. So when I was being called upon to come and be a guest on this beautiful show, I was so happy because I'll be talking to my people at home.
Okay, so I know you can't wait to hear from Pastor Mrs. Wright. Okay, so can we meet you, Ma? We want to know you in person, like in real life. Okay. So tell us what you do and every other thing you want us to know about you, Ma.
Okay, I am Ayobami Adegboyega.
Right.
Right in movie. Right in movie. So I'm a businesswoman, married to one man. I have 3 children, 3 godly children.
Love, right.
Then what is
everything else, Ma?
Okay, I'm married.
Oh, okay. So that says it all. Married and very married.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ma, how did you come into drama ministry?
Okay. I think I started drama ministry when I was a teenager. And that was the early 90s in my church when we had to join one group or the other in church. So I made up my mind to join drama. And it did not come just like that. My intention was to go to music department as choir. So we were being called upon. I went in for interview. So when it was almost my turn, I just find myself out of the line. I was like, no, I'm not meant for this. I was afraid. And I felt that I'm not meant for this place. So I went back. It got to a time, I said, okay, let me join prayer band. Then from there, I was having a kind of interest in drama ministry because when I was a child in children departments, they will always call on me to come and act in drama. But most time I normally take the lead role. So the time just came, I was in prayer band units. Then someone just called me and said, come and join drama group now. You can be useful there and the like. And I said, okay, no problem. I just went joyfully without even asking God or anything. I just went. And that was how I started. So when I started, I find myself in the north. Then when I came back home again, I so much have interest in joining drama group. So that was when I joined drama group fully. That was 890s.
Wow. That's a beautiful start. And so how has it been from teenage drama ministry to being married now and fully into drama ministry? How would you say the transition was? Was there any point where you stopped or you just went on like that smoothly?
Actually, there was a time I stopped. I told you I went to another part of the country. So when I was there, I think I was away for like 7 years. But I was still having interest in drama units because of the nature because I went purposely because of job hunting. So when I was working, my job did not permit me to participate in any church activities, only just go for service and come back. Because I work 7 to 7. So there was no opportunity for me to join any group. But my heart is always in drama ministry. So when I came back, I joined fully. That was around 2004. I joined drama ministry fully. And since that time, there has never been a breakup or whatever.
Very good. So mostly in some movies now or for the past few years, you've always been acting Mrs. Wright, Pastor Mrs. Wright, alongside your husband, your lawfully wedded husband in real life.
Yeah.
So how does it feel being your husband's wife, even in a movie?
You know, I find it so interesting because he's my husband. So whenever we are on set together, I always enjoy it. Sometimes I bring what we practice in our home into the acting, and that has really helped so well in projecting God's glory through drama.
So, ma, how did you come into Pastor Mrs. Right? Being able to separate Mrs. Adegboyega from Pastor Mrs. Right. How were you able to come into it?
Yeah, actually, Mrs. Wright started like play. So just as if we are just doing this us between husband and wife. That was during COVID. We were doing it like between the two of us, and it's graduated to coming in to mentor others now. You know, we started like we playing marriage from the beginning. It's now graduating to we now being we were being mentored when we started.
Yes, ma'am.
And now mentoring others. So that is when we find ourselves into playing Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Right.
Okay, so for this movie, which is your favorite movie yet, ma? That you've been, because you're in almost every movie, right?
Yes.
So which is your favorite, ma?
Oh, which one will I say? Okay, let me say Bridge.
Okay.
Bridge is my favorite. Reason why? Because it teaches from the scratch. That is from having a child, training up that child to become a lady or a guy, going to marriage, and overseeing that aspect. So it cut across every stage of life.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That was why I love that movie.
Okay. Okay, so who is your favorite character in Bridge?
Bridge. Okay, I would say Louisa.
Louisa.
Yes.
Okay. Why is Louisa your favorite character, ma?
Louisa, because she entered into that role so well. She acted it so well right from the beginning. You can see that the thing started from below. It was now aggravating, going up like that, and it went smoothly anyway. I like the way she acts. Or the
way she acts. Yes, ma.
I like the way she acts throughout the movie.
Okay. All right, so before we proceed, I have a question for you. This is a segment where we ask you who said what. And I'm going to ask you just one, because you know almost everything in this movie. So I'm going to ask you just one. Are you ready, ma?
Yeah.
This person said, Pastor, if I ask even you to park at the right and you park anyhow, I will deflate your tire.
That is Baba Soldier.
All right, so that was correct. So we are going to give it to Pastor Mrs. Right. Which one will I ask you now that you won't know? I think that's the end of that part. All right, ma. Next question. My next question for you is about you now in the movie. What's your favorite scene? Whether you were in it or not, though.
I think I like maybe it's season 1 of Reach, where Louisa and her husband was fighting. The period they used to fight each other, they talk at each other. I so much like conversation that took place in those scenes of the movie, because they talk to we see it as reality, what happens in most homes that did not allow God in their marriage, or that have God in their marriage, but they have God in their marriage, but they are not allowing God to have the upper hand in the home. They are not allowing God to come into the affair of the home. They always put God aside. So I see it as a way of telling people that in marriage you cannot leave God out of it.
Yes,
God must be involved, because for a marriage to stand, it must be between the man and the woman, then God.
Yes, ma'am.
So if God is not in it, you have chaos, you have problem, you'll be settling all sorts of things in that home. And that's when you see that people now go to third party, allowing third party into their home. But when you allow God, there won't be anything else. So I love it because it depicts a kind of life that we should play out. And when we don't play it out, we see that we'll be seeing all sorts of things that does not glorify God. So I like that particular area or areas where they come together and, you know, they were trying to understand each other
Yes,
in the marriage. So they just started the home, and it's just like, I've known him for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, for 10 years. But now come and practicalize it in the marriage.
Yes,
so they have issues. So, and it's because they left God out of it. But by the time they invited God into their home, everything went.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. That was so beautiful. Okay, before I proceed to the next set of questions I have for you, Ma, this is a game. And then, so in this game, you are going to, it's going to be in 2 ways. I'll ask you an African adage. You would interpret it in English. That's the first part. Then the second part, you will give me an African adage in the language. Then you will tell us the English and the meaning. So, the African adage now. Àgbà ò kí ń wà lọ́jà kórí ọmọ tuntun wọ́.
So he's trying to tell us that where an adult is, and they give you instruction or direction, the path of the younger ones will be smooth, something like that. You know, the Bible also says in 1 Timothy, I think 1 Timothy, yeah, when Timothy was talking to, when Paul was talking to Timothy, advising him that he should respect elders, that when elders are doing some things, follow what they are saying, especially elders that are telling them about the ways of God. They should follow. They should not say, what are you saying? You know, there are some people who say, what are they saying? They did not know anything. No, but we should realize that elders, with experiences, with their wisdom, with their years in life, they understand more than maybe can I call it children now or younger ones. So we should always learn from elders. So the adage is trying to tell us that wherever an adult is, he will always give direction to children or to a younger one.
All right, Ma. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ma. All right, Ma. So, Ma, as a woman in ministry and a businesswoman and a mother, how do you balance it together? How do you balance it all?
Okay. I thank God it has been by God's help, and His grace has been sufficient, because if I didn't allow God to rule in the affair, it's so difficult for me to balance. But with the help of God, I've been able to navigate. Okay, being a mother now, there's so much responsibility. I could remember a time when my children were growing. I'll go to my shop. At the same time, the ministry is there. So what I will do is wake up early, prepare breakfast, prepare lunch, pack everything together, take care of the children, and I'll just pack everything inside the car. I will drove from my house to their school. The other one was in another school, then the younger ones together in another place. So by 7 a.m., I must leave the house by 7 a.m., go and drop the children in school, then go straight to my shop. So from there, by maybe if you have an opportunity, or maybe it's going to be a weekly service, there's going to be weekly service in church, I'll just go to church, then maybe get home by 7 or 8 o'clock. So I do that for years before God now helped me, gave me ideas of how I should do it. But sometimes my husband will tell me that, let's do for house help. This thing is just too much for you. You can't cook. And I will tell him, I don't need house help. I can cook. But when it got to a time, God opened my eyes to it that there is need for someone to help. So that is when I now say, okay, I cannot be doing everything alone. So I look for someone as a maid that was helping in the house. Then at the same time, my business, I try to get other ends to help me, getting sales person to help me in the shop. And at the same time, when the work of the ministry was becoming much, So I have to like, okay, let me just separate my secular job a bit from the ministry. So I make sure that the time I go to shop is not going to be maybe in the morning. Maybe I'll just, or if I have opportunity of going that morning, I'll just dash in, come back, then go and do other things, maybe ministry assignments or taking care of the children. Then sometimes I will just say I will not go today. Let me just go in the evening. So I just look for a way of not allowing anything to affect anything in the ministry. So when I know today we are shooting, I know I'm shutting my mind from shop activities or from my business activities. When I have other engagements, I shut my mind. I don't really put my mind into it when I have a particular thing or something that is, let's say, other priority now. So I'll make sure the one that is very important that I should do at that particular time, I'll make sure I do it before allowing any other one. So it has been by God's help, by God's grace. It has not been easy, but because I apply wisdom by engaging other hands to help me, so it was a bit difficult. I mean, it was a bit easier for me to do the work of the ministry, and even not this ministry alone, this drama ministry alone. I have other things that I do, other spiritual aspects of the ministry too that I'm involved in. Like I'm a member of Vision Career. That is an arm of anti-drama and arm of drama ministry, which I'm so much involved in. The coordinator in Kwara State and also an executive at the national level. So I make sure all these things I balance it all because I've learned to allow other people to help me in the affair of my business and even in my home, not to affect the ministry and even my personal life. So it also helped me to really have much time with God in the place of prayer so that nothing will affect anything, just like I've said earlier.
Thank you so much, ma. So, like, I'm sure one of the things you can pick is that fact that to balance it all does not mean you will do it all. You know, if not, you just get old on time, and also, or you wear yourself out because you look at these women of God glowing and doing the Lord's work. Don't kill yourself. That's what she's trying to say. Yes, you're a strong woman, but you shouldn't do it all. Learn to accept help and delegate responsibilities and tasks as well. Thank you so much for sharing, ma. So before we round off, I know that there are a lot of women out there that would want to learn from this wealth of experience, especially women in ministry and for their marriages as well. Do you run counseling sessions? Or is there a way you reach out to people that people can reach out to you and get to learn from you, ma?
Yeah, we do counseling section together with my husband. So it's just a way when people reach out to us, we give them time, they can get in touch and do the counseling, whether virtually or we do one-on-one physical.
What word of advice do you have for us, for your fans, for people that love Pastor Mrs. Wright? What do you have for us, ma?
Okay, I just want to tell our people out there, especially the youth, that should learn to seek God's face on any issue, whatever you have in mind or whatever you are going through. Just make sure that God is your number one. You see God's face, you see God's counsel before taking any step. Because I could remember that while I was about choosing my life partner, it was difficult because more than 3-4 brothers came proposing to me, and I was like, in my head, God, what is this problem? People like, what is happening? Are you saying all of them is my husband? And they like, but I went to God in prayer with the help of other people. I seek counsel from people on how to go by it, and by the grace of God, here I am today. So I want to encourage us that we should only seek God's face on whatever we are doing. We should not let God out, so that we have a godly and beautiful home. Because out there, the world cannot offer us anything good, but God in His mercy is having more than enough things to give to us, or more than enough things to expose to us, to reveal to us as His children, if we take seeking God's face, seeking God in prayer, in fasting, or any way you want to. Seeking God's face is the major thing. God will always speak to us, but some of us are so in hurry that we don't want God. We don't want to hear from God. We don't want to say God, or we want to say, God, what are you saying? I don't get. I want to do my thing my own way. So we shouldn't let God out. Let God have His way, because it's because I allow God. That's why I'm enjoying my marriage today. So that's my encouragement to everyone, and even the married one. God and God and God should be the first priority in whatever you are doing, whether you have challenged your marriage or you are looking unto God for one thing or the other. Just seek God more. Seek God. You can never seek God more. Is it enough or enough? More than enough. You cannot ever seek God enough. So continue to seek Him. Seek God. That's just the major thing I want to say, that we should always seek God. And God will help us in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ma. It was such a beautiful time with you in the studio today. And thank you so much for staying tuned to the show till the very end. And I hope to see you next time on this same channel. Don't forget to share, to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to this channel. See you next time on this show, ATM with TMA. Bye.